Every one of us is tasked with bringing the world to perfection. This week's Parsha reveals a secret to help us do just that. Popular on social media the last few years have been reaction videos. In these videos, you get a split screen. On one side, you see something happening, and on the other side, you see someone's reaction to seeing that thing happen. Sometimes you're seeing people's authentic reactions to hearing your favorite song for the first time. Sometimes you're seeing ridiculous and staged reactions to random events. If ever there was a Parsha that calls for a reaction video, Tisa is it. The events in the Parsha are so grand and so surprising that even if you've learned this Parsha many times, you still can't help but have a reaction. Let's set the scene. The nation of Israel was taken out of Egypt after 10 miraculous plagues. Hashem splits the sea to bring Israel across it safely. The nation camps at Sinai, and in the most awe-inspiring event in human history, Hashem speaks to the entire nation and gives them the 10 commandments. Moshe says that he's going to go up the mountain to get the details of the mitzvot and will come back down in 40 days. The people famously respond, Naseh v'nishma. We will do and we will hear. Now let's turn to the events of this week's Parsha, chapter 32. We're 40 days later, and the people see Moshe has not returned. So they do what any person would do when the one you're expecting is running a bit late. They react in a measured, thoughtful way. They build a golden calf. I mean, what else could you possibly do? They don't send Moshe a WhatsApp asking where he is. They don't use Find My Friend to get his exact location. They don't send a search party. They don't double check their count of 40 days. They don't ask one another, hey, did Moshe mean he'd be back on the 40th day or 40 days and then he'll come back? Which is exactly what happened. Moshe said he'd be on the mountain 40 days with the count beginning the next day. But the people began counting immediately, so they were 1 day early. And not only did they build a golden calf, which violated the second commandment, but after building it, they say, this is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, thus also violating the first commandment. After everything the people experienced over the past several months, Moshe doesn't show up exactly when they expected, and they blow it all up. Cue the reaction video. But that's not all. When all this is going on at the foot of the mountain, up on the top of the mountain, Hashem tells Moshe, you'd better get down there. So Moshe takes the tablets, the holiest objects ever created, crafted by Hashem's hand, inscribed by Hashem with the text of the Aser Hadibrot, and goes to see what's going on. Seeing the golden calf, Moshe smashes the tablets. He destroys the holiest object ever in existence. Cue the second reaction video. Now, the Midrash has much to say on these two reactions. The people were definitely wrong in their reaction. Perhaps Moshe was actually correct in his reaction. But let's look at them on the surface. We see two big, immediate reactions, but I think we all feel in our guts that major reactions in the spur of the moment is not the authentic Jewish response. So what do we learn from this? Well, luckily, today is not only Parsha Ki Tisa, but it's also Purim. So let's look at the Megillah for a little help, where we see another reaction to big events. Haman decrees the destruction of the entire Jewish people. Mordechai learns of this and sends word to Esther. After some back and forth, Esther's response is, go, assemble all the Jews who live in Shushan and fast on my behalf. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my maidens will observe the same fast, then I shall go to the king, though it is contrary to the law. And if I am to perish, I shall perish. Esther doesn't go storming into the king. She doesn't burn the castle to the ground. She certainly doesn't abandon Hashem and build a golden calf. She's willing to take big drastic action of risking her life to go before the king, but says, let's take a beat here. I'm not sure the best way to respond to this. So let's take 3 days. do some finding, form a plan, and then act. And therein lies the real Jewish way. Yes, big problems sometimes call for big responses, but poorly thought out reactions that have lasting consequences are rarely the best response. Chaverim, my friends, we live in a world where big reactions in the spur of the moment are the norm. They may make for amazing reaction videos, but are rarely the best course of action. We see a tweet or a quote we don't like from a politician or a public figure and immediately call for them to be shunned. No pausing to find out the context or if the quote is even true. We see an image we don't like and organize a campaign against it. No pausing to find out if the image is authentic or where it actually came from. In a world where it's easier than ever to generate fake quotes, fake news stories, fake images, and fake videos, we seem to have lost the desire to look at things critically and gather some facts before reacting. Yes, there are times when big and drastic, immediate reactions are called for, but perhaps we need a person like Moshe to know when those times are. For the rest of us, let's follow Esther's lead and take a beat before we jump into action. That is one thing we can learn from this week's Parashah. How will you step up this week to bring the world a little closer to perfection? Shabbat Shalom, Chag Purim Sameach, and Am Yisrael Chai.